Good morning and welcome. We are joined today by Kerem Usenmez, and he is the president and CEO of Volta Metals. Symbol is VLTA on the TSXV. It also trades in the Frankfurt Exchange. And we're happy to have him here on Investor News. And good morning and welcome, Kerem.
Good morning. Thanks for having me.
We're going to take a little walk back in time first. You've been listed publicly about 3 years, Volta Metals has. Spun in from another entity. Tell us a little bit about your background and how you got to where you were to where we are right now with Volta Metals.
Yeah, we started this company as private company. We put together the projects and went public through an RTO. So there was an existing company that we acquired. Since then, we've progressed pretty well. I'm a geological engineer myself. I worked with juniors on the exploration side and majors on the production side of things, and worked in mines, underground mines, as well as did consulting across Canada, internationally. A lot of mine openings and assessment works to get them into production and development. And after that, ran a drilling company and another public company that we did another RTO. It was a zinc development, so I did an IBA and feasibility study to take it into production as well before this one.
We'll get to your projects in a couple of minutes, but let's start with the critical metals area. So we've got cesium, tantalum, lithium, all the above. What should we know about those for those of us that don't know a lot about it? Tell us a little about that to begin with, and then we'll get into the projects from there and what you're doing.
Yeah, the lithium projects is what we started the company initially, and we were coming up with discovery. So it's in the northwestern Ontario. All of our projects are in Ontario. We are obviously critical mineral focused, and projects are road accessible. That's main pillars that we founded the company on. So the lithium project, we've acquired more of it. So we have the 11 kilometers of the strike length since the acquisition and since the discoveries. So lithium comes in either, brine or hard rock. This is obviously hard rock on surface, a lot to be found there. And our neighbor has a 10 million ton resource. So fantastic location, just outside of Thunder Bay by car, 3.5 hours, you're standing on it. So that's where we started it. But our main project is Springer Rare Earth Project that has a resource from 2012 that we're expanding on and finding more of it. It's getting bigger. It's near Sudbury. So that's the more exciting part.
And tell us too about gallium. We didn't cover that one. What should we know about that for those of us that may not know much about that? Why is that important, and why is that a big component of Volta Metals?
Yeah, so gallium is very strategic. Right now, China produces 98% of it. The other 2% of global production comes from 3 other countries that are not in North America. Okay. So the US has zero production for years. Why do we care? Because gallium is going into semiconductors. It's actually mostly, instead of silicon chips, now it's being used as gallium nitrate chips. That is making it faster, make videos and AI possible. Of course, AI is extremely strategic and defense related. So there's defense applications as well with gallium. But the main thing is gallium has been always produced as a byproduct of aluminum and or zinc smelting. So aluminum is the main one. So really having a gallium resource is almost non-existent. So we're looking at having one or only gallium resource in Canada with really, really big numbers. When I talk about numbers, the highest grade aluminum mineral is bauxite. That's where you get gallium at the best of times. So you're looking at around 55 grams per ton. Okay, let's say 55 grams per ton is your good grade, high grade. We are coming up with beyond 50 with 100 plus meters of consistent numbers. Our highest grade is 1 meter, 330 grams per ton. Obviously, that's not consistent, but our consistent numbers, we're looking at 82 over 130 plus meters, 82 grams per ton. So far, that's the first borehole. So, but There's a lot of gallium that was reported. Gallium is going to add maybe 25 to 35% to the project in terms of value. That's our estimate. We'll see when the resource comes out.
And there's three projects. One I know is literally a work in progress, but Springer's the main one. I'm curious about the other one. It had another name at another time, but it's been renamed Aki, AKI. Can you tell us a little bit about that name and the Indigenous part to it and your relationship with them in the Northwestern Ontario that you're in?
Yeah, look, we, obviously, Indigenous relationships are very important. We are visitors, we're in their territory. So every time we look at a project, that's how we approach. We reach out to them, we build that relationship before doing any work. So that's respect. That's basic respect that we built this company on. So that's what we've been doing. So that relationship on both projects are very, very strong, very good. We have full support of each other. Now, the lithium projects, we had a very small portion of the current project, that Aki project. It was called Falcon West. Since the downturn, I've been acquiring at a very low cost the strike length of that lithium, cesium, and tantalum extension. So we consolidated that land package. I don't know, we went over maybe three, four times the size now. And we wanted to rename it. And what better way than using an Anishinaabe word that means land that provides us where we respect. And one interesting thing though, with that extension at the end of it, we had a discovery of gallium within the pegmatites as well. Obviously, that's very early stage. At Springer, when we're going to have the updated resource, it's going to be a lot larger rare earth deposit with gallium add-on. So gallium, we're just reporting, so it's going to be on the next update, but very exciting.
China seems to have the world at its beck and when it comes to critical metals and rare earth elements and the like. How are we doing? Are we making inroads? Are we getting some sort of traction? Are we moving along somewhere along the line that Canada specifically, that has all these things at our fingertips and these elements in our
That's
country? Are we getting somewhere? Are we moving along?
that's it. That's a good question. So China, because of their system, they have long-term plans. They execute long-term plans very efficiently. So having said that, now West is realizing that these most of these critical minerals, critical elements, are highly strategic for defense, for modern world, and independence from one country, basically, which is China at the moment. So before China was able to use that to their advantage and manipulate the pricing and everything else, which had happened in the last time for rare earth projects,
Right.
why am I confident this time it might not happen the same way? Is because we see governments realizing and supporting the pricing point of view because we are price dependent. We're capitalists. We are, free market. Hopefully, it stays this way, even though there are signs. But what happened with it is U.S. and Australia put base floor for certain rare earth elements, which we need here. So that gives me confidence. And I think Canada is trying to do something similar. Europe is definitely on their way to do that. That would, I think, be the best policy, but there's a lot of push to have the processing also built, which I know there are companies in Canada and US are building, which they will need feed for. That's where I think we're confident that we can move this very quickly because of its location and the nature of things into production, where we can provide that for Western world's, independence.
I'm glad you brought that up because I wanted to talk about you guys have partnered up with a group in Idaho that does work for you guys. Can you tell us a little bit about that? And the follow-up would be, do we not have anywhere in Canada like that or anything? Is there anything like that that's somewhere coming along that we can do that here and we don't have to go to Idaho? So maybe tell us a little bit about Idaho, how that came to pass, what goes on there, and do we have some sort of an opportunity here in Canada? Why are we not doing it here?
Look, we're looking at all the labs. We're working together in different aspects of this thing. Um, I don't know. Well, I don't know where this is going to go. We have only one neighbor, which is United States. Okay. Idaho National Lab came through our contacts. They're all PhDs. very, very skilled, highly knowledgeable on these rare earth elements. They did the work. They're still doing work for Mountain Pass, right? Which led government involvement and so forth. They are extremely interested in our deposit, rare earth, because it's unique, because it's clean. There's no uranium or thorium to process. So that's very clean. But there's also gallium. They're extremely interested. In Canada, so far, we haven't seen that interest, but there's, of course, Saskatchewan Research Council, which we are working with as well, just so you know. So we're going to see where things go. And we're working with a university lab in Ontario as well, and we're also working with SGS to identify. All of these are going at the same time. It's not a competition. I see whichever works the best way, what's the most efficient way. We're looking at all the alternatives. Now, one might be better for gallium, one might be better for lights, but let's see what comes out of this. The good thing is the partnership with Idaho National Lab, because they're experts and everything else, we have no commitments at the moment. We're not
Good.
paying for this. They're doing on an, I guess, academic level at this point, but they're looking at it. They have samples, and um, we're trying to identify where this goes and the best ways of, processing it at this moment. So no promises given to anybody at the moment.
That's great news. More great news. I think we need to take a second here and sort of give you some kudos and some flowers in terms of money raised and financings. We'll get to that now too. But I don't have my numbers in front of me, but like say 2 or 3 years ago, you might have raised $250,000 and then you went to maybe $500,000. Last year we were into seven figures, and this year who knows what's going to happen. Can you just give us a little bit of a backstory to that, and how do you go from you've gone from A to more than A to B so far in the last 2 or 3 years. So hats off to you and the Volta group. But how has that all taken place, and how are you positioned going forward? And like, does that just get you caught up, or you got enough to get through this year? What needs to be done this year? But specifically, the growth of the company seems to be lockstep with the amount of money you've raised too.
Absolutely. So since the inception of this company, insiders, we are putting our own money, right? So when we started as a private company, we put it at 10 cents today's value. 10 cents, not today's value, 10 cents in Canadian value, right?
Right.
Every share we bought 10 cents with our own money. When we went public, we went at 10 cents as well. So since then, every financing, we put our own money. So that's one thing. So, and we have all retail. We don't have any institutional at the moment. It's a retail story, high net worths and so forth. So they've been very supportive. We obviously raised what we needed, considered of dilution. Look, 3 years, a lot of projects, a lot of drilling, a lot of expansion, all this stuff. We still have 115 million shares outstanding. We didn't do a rollback, right? So with that, having said that, the last raise was 2.8 million. We have just around $3 million in the account. So all the work we are doing, the baseline studies that started in October, all this year are covered. The largest drill program for this project, deeper drill program, this project is covered. The met work is covered. The resource update is covered. So we are fully funded for all these
Right.
activities that is going into the ground. Now, obviously, we don't have revenue. We have to raise more money. At some point, we are going to raise money. It depends on the interest. It depends on the valuation. It depends on what our next level of activities look like. This resource update will partly, if not all, dictate that plan, because we want to have a technical study by this summer. As you said, we're in a different level. We want to take it to the next level as soon as possible.
Awesome. That's awesome news. A couple other things before we wrap up. Tell us about, you mentioned amount of shares outstanding, you haven't done a rollback. How many shares are outstanding again? What's our market cap? And what about insider ownership? How is that?
Yeah. So we have 115 million shares outstanding in total. When we went public, our private company merged with a public company. We valued it because the public company had cash. They came as 75%. Our company was 25% of the pro forma. Obviously, we didn't own 100% of the company. And the combination, we were around 4% maybe insiders. Insiders are at 25% right now. So we are we've increased our ownership by participating in every raise, every financing, right? So that's where we are. We are I wish I could buy in the
Right.
market right now. Our market cap is ranging around 17, 18 million, maybe a little bit more, given, it's a volatile market. But there's so much that, we're on blackout. We can't buy in the market, unfortunately. But I think what's coming is gonna even, help us get to the next level easier.
Kerem, I'm going to keep my stock hat on for a second here. You're listed on the Frankfurt, we know, the CSE under VLTA, but you did just get a listing on the pink sheets down in the States. Any thoughts? I'm sure this is step one to getting to QB and QX and the like.
Yeah, I know that's a great question. Yeah, we started as CSE. Let's see where things go. Frankfurt happened organically. Same with the US listing. We are looking at alternatives for US because we have strong interest lately, of course, and we are considering all of that. Let's see where it goes. At this moment, we're happy where we are, but things will evolve. Hopefully, if we get to where we want to where we want to get to, then we will be looking at alternatives on the hopefully larger scale.
Any analysts covering it? Do we have anybody looking at the stock or watching it covering?
No, not at the moment. We are still a retail story because of our size, but the market cap keeps growing as we get to these milestone, look, there's really major milestone achievements that we're going to get in the next couple of months, which takes years to get to for a lot of projects. So if we get to where we want to be, I think there will be some of the institutionals are eyeing, like keeping an eye on us, and if we inch towards that, I think that might be next, hopefully later this year.
That's terrific news. And that's a great way to wrap up our segment. We were joined by Kerem Usenmez, who's the president and CEO of CSE listed Volta Metals. VLTA is a symbol. We're also down in the States. We're in Frankfurt. And any other information anybody might want to know about, you can go to this following website. It'll be all there. And Kerem, absolute pleasure. Thanks for joining us. This is going to be a great year for you guys. You're building on successes from previous years, and hopefully we get a chance to speak again real soon. Absolute pleasure.
Anytime. Thanks for having me. I appreciate the questions.